Alright, here we are doing a walk around and information segment for 1965 Galaxie for sale. It's a 352 cubic inch motor, second biggest one offered by Ford that year. 390 was the big boy. This is a big block as well, so it's a big heavy motor. It was replaced later by the Windsor and the Cleveland motors, but they used this in their trucks until the early 70s. There's millions of them out there and plenty of parts and whatnot for it. I've had the car about a year, and I have done a fair amount of mechanical things to it and a fair amount of cosmetic things. Probably the biggest job left right at this point is the paint. The paint's pretty cloudy. I doubt that you'll be able to see much on video. It'll probably look better on this than it does in real life. But here it is. I mean, if you're into kind of the, I don't know, the dogged out, ratty look, and this is a great look for you. If you're into a blingy car that's more show and less go, then you'd spend a little bit of money on some paint. There's some spots. Let's see on this side here, like this, where that's a repair. Shitty reflection. That's a no good repair job there. That's some more damage that's recent. No rust yet or nothing there. The old original white paint's right underneath it. Unless maybe that's some primer or something. You can see it's starting to flake and not do too great. Here's an older spot right here. It's just surface rust. It's still solid. I can't find any Bondo or filler on the car anywhere. Not saying it's not there, but I certainly haven't found any. The rockers, the inner wheel wells, the floors are all solid. I inspected those pretty close. Those tend to be the spots that go first, from what I know. This is probably the worst bit of paint here on the door. You can see where it's kind of wrinkled up on the top edge here. The rest of the door looks like the rest of the car pretty much, but right there it's getting kind of nasty. I don't mind it so much. I'm less about the paint and more about the mechanical parts of these things generally, so let's start looking a little bit closer at some stuff. Probably making motion sick with this video. First thing I did was build out the trunk. These things typically just come with a mat that goes in the bottom here, and that wasn't good enough for me. So I wanted some sound deadening and some more comfortable things going on. So this is just like trunk liner you can buy anywhere. It's kind of dust and stuff from the trees here. But I put sound deadening underneath it and some particle board and built a frame, and it all slides out real easy. It takes like 10 seconds to take it out, maybe 20 seconds to put it in. I don't know, it came out alright. I'm fine with it. It's better than the original stuff, and I didn't alter the car at all. I sprayed a bunch of like truck bed sealant inside here because I was worried about rust. You know, if it went somewhere, I'm in the desert, so it's not a big deal for me, but you know, if the car moves on somewhere else, I think that could be an issue. These are still pretty solid, so I want to kind of preserve them. Also in the trunk here, you'll see the original steering wheel here, but I think this is a problem on a lot of these. There's a little bit of this rim right here is kind of cracked up. I haven't messed with it much, but I don't think that center horn ring will stay on correct, unless maybe there's a little clip or gadget or something I'm not aware of. So these things are getting hard to find. When I looked to replace it, there was some crazy pricing going on. So I just blew off the whole thing and put a Grant steering wheel kit on it, so you can put about any kind of wheel you want now. Also in here is some of the trim bits from these go on the front seats. You know, right when you open the door, you would see this all on the edge of the front seat. These are the armrests for the 4 doors. I have all those. I didn't put them back on because honestly I just didn't like the look of them. They look kind of shitty, so I left them off. A little bit cleaner look. I don't know. They're here if you want them. Also is the Galaxie symbol, which as you can see is more Laxie than Galaxie. I hate these two. They go up in the front fender. It's a really awkward placement, so most of them are in here. Some ashtrays. This is the mirror adjustment. When I put the new door cards in, I didn't put this in. I just adjust the mirror by hand. It's right there. You can reach it easy. So this is looking kind of janky. It's really simple to put in. Anybody can figure that out. The rear seat belts right here, they're black, which is good. I think I just basically forgot to put these in before I dropped the back seat in. But the front seats belts are red, and I got an all black interior, so I skipped those. There are a few different ones available for like 60 to 120 bucks each. Some of them are retractable, some of them are just static. I just never got around to grabbing them. Actually, they're still on my wish list on Eckler's website, which is where all this stuff's available. Or Dearborn Classics, Eckler's, whatever, it's all the same thing. But there's just some random bits and pieces in here. I don't know what that goes to. Ashtrays, trim pieces, whatever. As far as I know, there's really nothing missing from the car. I guess there's one of these. Here's the other Galaxie badge. It's Axie instead of Laxie. And I think one of the GAs is in here, right here, or AL. So I don't know. Those could be pieced back together or rebought, I suppose. But not only are they not on the car, but the little holes they punch into are filled in. So it's kind of a mystery where they go to me, actually. I don't know. It wasn't a big deal for me. I put in a new trunk seal here. It's nice and tight. Happy with the job that happened there. Probably the worst bit, which might be hard to see, the worst bit of rust and cancer or whatever is right inside the lip here. The very back of the trunk. This thing had no seal in it when I got it, so you can see here where things kind of start going bad, and then come back together a little bit right at the latch, and then go bad again on this side. It's not even visible unless you get down in there and look at it. When you open the trunk and stuff, it's just like nothing's there. I actually have an extra one of these because I ordered 2 of them. I'll throw it in the trunk here with whatever else I feel like needs to go with the car. Here's one of those armrests I started to recover with some of the extra material I had from the headliner, which there's still some remnants here that can be used for whatever. So the headliner will match whatever you decide to wrap that with. Move to the motor, I suppose, here. Alright. So here we got the what I'm assuming is the original 352 with it. It's a good old motor. It's got a ton of torque, and like I said, they use them in their trucks. It can probably pull your house around the neighborhood if you wanted to with this thing. Got a brand new coil in it. Came out one day and the coil was smoking like hell. I think something was funky that day. I don't know what happened. Pretty doomed battery. It cranks pretty hard. No problem with that as far as I'm concerned. I put electronic ignition in it, so no more points or no more points and all that good stuff to deal with. It's electronic ignition. It's like forever. Works great. It starts a little bit easier, a little bit better gas mileage. I don't think it hurts the car at all. I think it helps it a lot. Right here you can see a brand new vacuum booster, master cylinder for the car. I put a disc brake conversion on it on the front. The old brakes were scary as hell. At least for me. I'm not used to driving these old cars so much, I guess. I used flexible line on this stuff. The guys at the hydraulic shop were like, when I asked them about it, they couldn't believe more people didn't do this. Bending and flaring and running all those lines is a supreme pain in the ass. So I spent a shitload of money on these lines. They're safe for brake fluid, which is pretty caustic, nasty stuff, but they're Teflon lined, and they are stronger than the steel lines that that are used in these things. They use them in race cars and shit all the time. You know, some guys might have a problem with this. For me, it's not a problem. I'm driving this car every day. I'm not driving it across country, and all the lines are pretty protected from you know, getting damaged. A steel line will get dented anyway. This stuff, it's not only got the rubber housing on the outside, it's also got the steel wound cable and then the Teflon inside. I mean, if you could feel this right now, it's hard as a rock, and the connections are all pressure connections with a big, like, 6-ton press, with all the right angles and all that stuff on them. For me, this is a fine way to go. This setup's only on the front brakes. From here back is the original brake lines, which are in decent shape. I don't have seen any issues with that. And you can see here how this line runs down here, right on top of the cross member and along the frame and stuff, so it's protected well from rocks and whatnot. It goes up over the shock tower there and down to the caliper down to the caliper there, which we'll take a wheel off, and you can see that set up. So this is a proportioning valve right here. The front brakes need a lot more pressure to compress in the back, since one is disc and one is drum, and this is what controls all that and makes it all happy. This whole system came with 0 directions. I bought it from Eckler's, and the directions were tighten everything down and test the brakes before you use them. That was it. It was 2 steps. So I had to work through a lot of this on my own, and found out that this is sold by allchevy.com. It's their standard, you know, proportion valve with a return restrictor on it and 10%, 30%, I don't know, it's got a bunch of stuff. But I had to reach out to them to find out how to even connect it to all the brakes and stuff, because there's like 8 in and out and whatnot on it. I have a sheet that they printed out for me, emailed to me. I can send that with it too, although you probably don't have to mess with this. Now that it's hooked up, you can just follow the lines and see where they go. But I wouldn't. That disc brake system was very expensive, and I could have pieced it together out of a junkyard for about a quarter the cost. The reason I bought it was for the directions, and they didn't even give me any, so that was kind of a sucky deal. I wouldn't buy that. It's from Orange, California. I think they were called ABS, and they were not helpful at all. It was sucked. So we got this all hooked up, vacuum assisted brakes. Right here we have the AC stuff that goes in and out. This car was in California for quite a few years, and they have a bunch of different AC laws and whatnot that I think whoever had it, instead of upgrading it or doing whatever it took to get legal, just took it out. And being in Las Vegas, that kind of sucks, but this isn't really a comfort car anyway, so you know, it's not that heartbreaking. Alright, let's move to the inside. You can see kind of a shitty tint job that's peeling and looking like crap. When I bought the car, the guy had the window duct taped here. I fixed all that. It was just had to put back together the regulator and stuff inside there. There you go. You can kind of see where the regulator scratched the tint job off the window there. That's an easy fix, I guess, for a tint guy. No problem there. The rest of the windows look pretty good. Just that one's, of course, the one you look out of all day because you're on this side of the car, but the rest of the windows are pretty straight. So So start here. We did all new felt and seals all the way around all the windows and stuff, with the exception of this one in between the front and back window. You can see it's kind of cracked up and nasty. Basically, I just forgot to buy it. That's all that was. They have it. I think it's about 40 bucks for the whole car, 20 each side. But other than that, we got all new felt in here. That was a real expensive, and new window rubbers here to keep all the water out from falling into the door, and quarter panel and whatnot. That stuff was expensive as hell, and it was not fun to put in at all. Door seals are new. I didn't. You can see right there, it's starting to happen. I did not put any adhesive or anything in there because I wanted to redo. Maybe when I painted the car, if I did that, I was going to want to repolish all this stainless and all the aluminum and stuff on the inside of the car. So these seals were like 110 bucks each. So I didn't want to glue them in there and then rip them out so I could make things look right. So they're just in there by their little, you can see how it comes out of its little rail there sometimes and falls down. Not a big deal. It just pushes right back in there. And you could put some weather stripping adhesive in there and it would be tight and right. But that thing runs all the way back there. So it's a big piece of rubber, but it's not glued in. Okay. So dashboard. This was the last bit I got back from this little visor thing. Was the last bit I got back from my guy that was helping me out on some of the little interior bits. And it came back after I had the car basically all together, and I never did completely install it, so it slides off there. No big deal. I need to get it on there right. There is a couple screw holes in here somewhere. Like right there it is. And it screws into this thing slides over 2 prongs, and then you put the screw in from the bottom down here to secure it. I just haven't done it yet, and I think I need like maybe a 90-degree screwdriver or something funky to get in there because I don't have much room to get a driver in there. But no big deal. At least not to me. Maybe it is to you. I don't know. Also, I haven't put on some of these old bits yet. I have them either on my workbench or in that trunk. I have everything, and as a matter of fact, the wiper one is brand new. Kind of had to destroy that when I was taking the dash apart. But you can see they just have a little hole in them here, and there's a set screw. You slide it on, and there's a set screw that comes in from the bottom side to hold all that good stuff together. No big deal there. Also, I painted the dash, and my painting skills are about as good as my handwriting skills, so it doesn't look great, but it's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. It's just a silver. Underneath that, I think, is like red, if I remember right. Just about everything in this car was red on the inside. But this is all new paint here. Cleaned up all these grooves and bits and stuff. I got inside the dashboard. I replaced every single light inside there. Put LED in there because there was like 30 burned out bulbs in there, and you couldn't see anything on the dashboard. Now everything's new. It's LED, so it should last till the end of time practically, or at least a lot longer than this car will probably last. Put new carpet in, new sound deadening underneath it, as well as I did some like home style heat shield stuff. It's basically just like bubble wrap with foil on each side to reflect some of the heat out of here. Seat kit, all brand new. Took the seats down to the skeleton, replaced a bunch of the springs, added some springs and support and stuff. New 2 kinds of new foam, wrapped it with super heavy fabric, and then this thing hog pin in here, and that was a hell of a project. It was fun though. I learned a lot doing that one. It was cool. The door cards are brand new, not only in the front but in the back as well. It's got all this stuff, all the hardware and whatnot. They could probably use a polishing or a re-chroming, but they're not terrible. Just a little bit of pitting on them and stuff. Right here is where the armrest would go. It's hard to see, but there's a couple of little mounting things ready to go here. If you're not going to put them back on, you can pop the door card off, and these mounting dealies are removable. It's like a clip that has threads in it. So no big deal either way on that. I just kind of like the cleaner look of the door. They're kind of already pretty, I don't know, fancy or whatever, 60s style. So those doors, armrests just look like crap. I hated them. So let's fire it up and see if we can talk while we're breathing this exhaust, because it is pretty nasty exhaust. There's that Grand steering wheel. It's like a silver flake. When I was putting the steering wheel in, everything was hunky-dory. You can see the horn's not working though, because when you crank the wheel all the way to the left, the horn would beep a little bit, and I don't want people to think I was trying to get their attention. So this thing turns to the left and comes right off, and you can see in there that the wires are just a little bit too short, so they could be extended a little bit to the connection points, and when you turn it won't bind up and it shouldn't honk then. Just another little thing I haven't done. I kind of lost interest in this car after I got to this point, and I bought a Porsche and I have motorcycles and I have a job and I have a wife, and so I have other shit to do, but that didn't get done. The horns work. As a matter of fact, I don't even think it's disconnected here. Now that I think about it, it's disconnected up at the horn. So that's that. Right now I have the choke on about halfway. This thing was kind of stuttering and bogging out right off idle, and I was in here goofing around with it, and I realized that if that manual choke down there is on about halfway or a little bit more, that you don't get that stutter. So if you're a carb guy, then you're probably looking at me laughing and going, well, all he has to do is this or that, the other thing. Well, come on over and fix it, man, because it was annoying. So now it runs a little rich probably. If you leave that on. So now it's off, and as long as you don't stomp on it, you get the RPMs up right. If you really mash it though, it takes too much air, too much gas or something, and just kind of dies. So let's see if we can get it to happen here. There it was. So with that choke on, you can mash it no problem. Alright, so that's that. There's the back seat. I built that rear deck. Can't really buy those. It's just some cheapy cardboard stuff. Cut the speaker holes out so they're ready to go. And it's just trunk liner back there. That's a little remnant that's messing up the shot right now. Just a little trim piece that didn't get swept away. There's the headliner looking good. It's perforated. We had I had a local guy redo these visors for me. They look good. They're in there right. Once again, the hardware's a little pitted and kind of funky, but you know, whatever. There's tons of trim inside this cab, which is kind of cool. You don't see it on cars anymore. All the way around every window is stainless bits, and it's really pretty cool. We got new lights back there on both sides. That's kind of a nice touch. Let's go back and give it a listen there. This thing kicks out some nasty exhaust, man. Let's go ahead and give it a romp, see if we can hear it. Jeez, man, I hear that and I don't want to sell this thing, man. That's the motor. Let's go up here and get a shot of this thing while it's running. Like radiator hoses look good. Upper and lower, they're both both still have the tags on them. They're new, not new, but they're new. There is an issue with the high pressure power steering hose right here. I don't think that's where it's leaking, but that's the hose. I think it's leaking back here somewhere. I got that hose. I haven't done it. It's another one of those things that I have not done yet. That's the fun part about having an old car, right? There's always shit to do to it. The wheels, got these American Racing wheels on them. I don't know, they're okay, I guess. Some people really like those American Racing wheels. I'm kind of on the fence about them. Tires, tires are pretty nice actually. The guy that had it before me put them on, he spent about $1,000 on them. You can see that they are, they're still real good in the back. Now in the front, this thing's all out of alignment and shit. In the front, they are worn a little bit unevenly. So you can see here on the outer, still super nice. On the inside, not so much. There's no feathering or anything really going on, but they're worn a little bit. Right here you can see that. It's that new rotor for the disc brakes. Caliper up there, right there. From what I understand, when I took this to the parts store, I have the part number off of the pads. I had the fellas there look it up, and they're evidently these brakes are from an 85 or mid 80s Cavalier. So not exactly performance brakes, but they perform a shitload better than the 1958 technology that was on here before. Part of that setup though is that this brake pedal is just a little bit higher than probably most people are used to. You know, it's a bit of a step to get up there. It only takes a second or two to get used to, maybe 2 stops, and you're good with it. But, you know, it might creep you out a little bit. If that is an issue for you, this is going to be impossible to see, but if that's an issue for you, right back in here, there's an eye bolt. Like right there. Somewhere. It's kind of long. Probably a shorter eye bolt to go up there to the booster. You should be in good shape. Or, which I wouldn't do it this way, but if you wanted to, you could throw some spacers on the back of this booster, move it further away from the wall, and then that would have the same effect as putting a shorter bolt in, just making it a longer distance. But I'm not sure that's the best way to do it, because it's a pretty good pressure going down on that thing. It probably needs to be as snug as possible. There's another bad spot of paint there from when I was taking the trim off. That paint just comes off like panties on prom night. Oh yeah, the front window here, it's got a little crack in it. Man, that's hard to see, huh? It's maybe 2 or 3 inches long right here. And I thought there was one. Yeah, there's one on the bottom side here that's, man, you can't even see that. It's that long. But I don't know, if you live in a super hot or super cold climate, it might be good to have one of those guys come out and put that resin in there to fill it, because I imagine it'll just keep creeping and creeping. And maybe I should just do that. I think insurance pays for that stuff pretty much 100%, so I should just handle that before it gets any worse. But that's it. This video ended up being a lot longer than I expected it to be, because I had more to say than what I thought. There she is, 65 fastback, 2-door. Sounds good, runs good. One more thing real quick here on the transmission. This is called a Cruise-O-Matic transmission. You got the little moon eyes door deals going on here. You can see this sucker, which might be tough. There is the positions on this column are park, neutral, and then it just says the word drive real big. Now, there's like 4 drive positions in this thing. The first one is regular drive, but it starts you off in first gear. It's a 3-speed transmission. So you start in second, and eventually you go to third, and that's it. The second position down, that's a forward gear, is another drive, but it starts you in first gear, then takes you to second, and then third. It's some kind of bullshit comfort thing they came up with at Ford in the early 60s. For me, all I think it seems to do is drain your transmission and fuck up your fuel. I don't know. No power, no torque. You're starting off in second gear, you know? So if you don't know that about this car, you might feel like there's no power because you never even make it into first gear. So anyway, where you'd want to drive it is you want to go, there's reverse, neutral, drive that starts in second, drive that starts in first, and then there's a low beyond that. So once again, I don't know where the hell he came up with that, but it's there. I don't know. I guess that's it. Emergency brake works there. I don't know. This sucker here wants to fall around. There's an adjustment back here to tighten it up. Just another thing I haven't done yet. So this wants to like fall down on you while you're driving, but that's an easy fix. What else we got here? I think that's it, man. There's that rear door, back seat, back carpet. I don't know, it's a pretty cool old car. That's it.